Okay, we're here in the Hole in the Wall, which is a very quaint old Kilkenny venue, and we're lucky to be here with Adrian Howells, who's performing the first play that's actually, well, play performance experience that's going to be here in the Hole in the Wall for Kilkenny Arts Festival. It's called Footwashing For The Sole. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
My pleasure.
Especially on your lunch break.
It's alright.
I know there's a time constraint. What's the experience been like so far?
It's been a really qualitative experience, actually. That's the word I'd use. I had a little bit of apprehension about coming here, which was to do with the fact that I've just recently performed the piece in Munich and earlier in the year at the Brighton Festival. And I'd made a little bit of an assumption that perhaps people here in Ireland were going to be a bit similar to the Bavarian Germans and to the English. Obviously nobody else ought to hear this really. And that is that I have found those cultures to be a little bit reserved, a bit chilly almost in their reception to the piece, in stark contrast to a lot of the other cultures that I've done the piece in, like for example in Japan and Singapore and in Canada, in Italy, Spain, and indeed in Scotland. And it's to do with the fact that I think that people feel, as I say, particularly in these two cultures, Bavarian, kind of Germany and England, that perhaps it's a little bit too exposing. Right. Not just the nakedness of the feet, but that somebody else is handling them. And obviously there's a real intimacy in the piece. And I think, I'm generalising of course, that I could categorise those cultures as having the most problems. And I think it's to do with a kind of Protestant, Puritan, prudish kind of background in some way. This is a really long answer to your simple question. So actually that expectation has been completely defied. Right. And I've found that people have had a really genuine, meaningful and qualitative engagement. And I mean, I've done it with, what, 14 people so far. Yeah. And I've got another 15, 16 people to go. But I would say that so far this level of engagement has really transcended what I thought it was going to be.
And do you think that's because the level of expectancy coming into this would have been kind of that you would be emotionally engaged with something and that you would be kind of naked, as it were? Do you feel that maybe with some other performances of the show that people might have been caught unawares by?
Well, what has really struck me about people that have come to the experience here is that one of the first things they've said is, I've been really looking forward to this. I really decided that I wanted to do this piece. I really planned, so that level of choosing to do the piece is already much more substantial than, for example, I know in Munich, where people don't even really read what they're going to come to, because it's part of the Opera House's festival. They just blanket book everything that's in the Arts Festival, and they haven't even really read. So for example, they will be saying to me, where's the rest of the audience? And I'd say, it's a one-to-one performance, which it clearly says in the literature, that I will be washing your feet. And people in Germany, they were literally going, why would you want to wash my feet? Why do you want me to take my shoes and socks off? And it's foot washing that I'm doing here, there's a clue in the title,
It's there for all to see.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't patronise like that, it's not fair, but you kind of go, but whereas here, it's very much that people have really chosen to do it, and I think that the reason why the quality of engagement is so strong, I think it is to do with the fact that the country is it's been imbued with a religious culture.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the kind of the Catholics and Protestant, whatever, the background here is that people already have this as a reference point. Yeah. They already know about you know,
the ritual.
That Jesus washed the feet of the disciples at the Last Supper, and they know about Mary Magdalene washing Jesus' feet with her tears, and they've already got those reference points.
Yeah.
And when, for example, I ask their permission to kiss their feet, they're not in any way shocked or disturbed by that, because it's something that's already part of the Christian religious kind of experience.
Absolutely.
That they know about. Whereas in Germany or in England, when I did it in Brighton, I mean, you know, people were like, why would you want to kiss my... You know, it's like...
You've got a level of resistance there.
Yeah, yeah.
And how has this venue actually affected the performance? Has it fed into it in any way? Or?
Well, it's interesting because, of course, this is like a really historical building. I mean, really ancient. It's like, what, 1586 or something like that?
It used to be an old, inn or tavern back in the day. It was the establishment to be in Kilkenny back in the day. Well,
what I find is, because I've done it in lots of really different venues, you know, like I've done it in a 200-year-old Arab mansion, you know, in Nazareth, and I've done it in a treatment room, and yeah, all sorts of really different spaces. What this is imbued with is a kind of a historiosity. Is that such a word?
It can be.
Well, it almost feels a little bit monastic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It almost feels the kind of the quality of, like, I don't know, the actual fabric of the building and everything. It makes me feel a little bit like it could be a monastery or a convent or something like that. And actually, it's to do with an energy that a building has. It might sound really weird to talk like that, but this has a very particular kind of energy,
a very unique energy.
Well, and a kind of serenity. I think that's what I'm trying to get at.
I mean, it's very much out of, in terms of Kilkenny venues, it's very much out of the way, and a lot of people still don't know about it, because as I was saying, this is the first performance that's of any sort that's really happened in there outside of music.
Right.
So it is a bit out of the way, and people don't know about it, and you do have to kind of find it out a little bit. So I mean, it's very quiet and it's very peaceful.
It is, exactly. I mean, you know, I've just done it in a tent in Munich, you know, by a roadside, and the amount of noise was incredible. And here it's incredibly peaceful. Yeah. You know, and you can hear the flapping of a butterfly's wings. You know, honestly, you really can, because a couple of butterflies get caught in here sometimes.
All right, so that's
so that has been happening.
Been impeding the performance.
But it's interesting, because that level of like a butterfly's wings has been kind of the only intrusive noise, and that's hardly intrusive.
No, not at all.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it does imbue the performance with a particular sort of spirituality, energy, yeah, and almost that kind of historical thing, you know, because this is influenced by historical things. Yeah. You know, the idea of kind of foot washing coming from, you know, Jesus washing the disciples' feet. So this is, a historical building. So I mean,
does it help people help people engage with, I guess, maybe the necessary headspace that they need to be in to fully?
I think that's what it's about. Yeah, I think you've kind of said it much better than I've just.
No, not really.
Yeah, you have.
So thanks very much for taking the time to join us. I know you've got a full lineup now for the afternoon. Everybody's going to be coming in, and congratulations on what I believe is a completely sold out show. Sold out before it even started, which is fantastic. So word of mouth doesn't even have time to take effect on this one.
Yeah, it always feels a bit of a cheat though to say a one-to-one is like sold out.
Yeah, I know. yes, true.
But I'll grab that.
Yeah, just take it, run with it. Sold out performance. Thanks for taking time to talk to us, and hope you enjoy the rest of your stay in Kilkenny.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Really nice to meet you.